Well, last question. You recently signed a deal with Spotify.
Yeah.
You and I have never talked about, numbers. I had heard it's an 8-digit deal in the atmosphere. I had heard that.
Listen. Vlad, I'm an
and congratulations if it is.
Vlad, I'm an immigrant guy from Jamaica, man. That's all I gotta tell you, man. Like, where that numbers? These numbers that start coming around, I don't know. Gilly told me a number, then another person. I'm like, how are all y'all in my business?
I don't know.
And where's this? And also, I'm not opposed to letting these numbers fly.
Right, exactly. It's not an insult.
Yeah. Just to go ahead.
It's a compliment.
The next time I negotiate a deal, I'll be making sure I double up on that.
Well, number one, congrats, man. I mean, you had the first podcast was with Tekashi and Wack. I thought that was a very interesting combination.
And by the way, it's called Off the Record on Spotify.
Yep. Off the Record, sorry.
Yep.
On Spotify. Kodak Black, I thought was a major coup.
Yeah.
That you pulled off. And really since then, I mean, you had Rich the Kid who ended up walking off.
Yeah. It's been an interesting ride.
It's been an interesting ride, man. It's just interesting how you have the e-bros of the world that try to downplay people like you and I who we're these little entities that we're not big like a Hot 97 morning show or so forth. When you see, I love to see people like yourself come in and get all the big guests that they can't even get.
I think Ebro has changed his mind on those things. Or I think if he has, I think in his mind he's changed his mind, but he might be playing the role of representing the other opinion. Because if you look at it now, Ebro pretty much is doing a podcast on Apple.
On Apple.
It's like, what are we going to call Apple? Like, they save your broadcast, and I would bet that more people listen not live,
Yeah.
It's essentially like streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like with radio, listen, man, I've tried to get on radio when I was first a DJ and everything else like that. It's just like radio has always had this looking down at you kind of mentality, for years and years of that's just a YouTube guy. That's just a podcast guy. That's just a social media guy. We're the real deal. When in reality, I
think it was because of ad dollars.
Maybe.
And I think they started seeing their mortality when ad dollars started to move elsewhere.
Exactly. Especially with how YouTube, the CPMs have gone up tremendously over the past 2 years. It's it's so funny to me of these guys, I'm not even gonna name some of them, but it's they go and take these little shots and they go and talk their little shit when financially I dwarf all of them put together. You know what I'm saying?
Talk that shit now, Vlad. Come on now. Talk that shit,
really, you could throw the whole Hot 97 morning show in a fucking pot and it wouldn't even take a small dent out of what Vlad TV makes.
Okay. I was going to say, I know you make more than everybody put together at Hot 97.
Possibly.
Not possibly.
Possibly. Honestly, I was talking to my man about this. It's when I look at my freshman class, like my DJ freshman class, all the mixtape DJs that came up in my era, 2000, the early 2000s, the mid 2000s. I would say Khaled is probably the valedictorian. He's the one that probably made the most. I would say I'm probably second. Maybe DJ Drama is either tied or third. Somewhere.
Drama's having a lot of success.
Drama's had a lot of success with Uzi Vert and Jack Harlow and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
And by the way, you know the great and it's if we're about to end, it's best to end on this. It's I love when they're like, yo, why do they call him DJ Akademiks? He's not even a DJ. You look at the biggest DJs in hip hop.
DJ Vlad, DJ Khaled, none of us DJ anymore.
Not DJ. That's the only thing I've always looked at hip hop to be if we would all be DJing if it was an art that was actually revered and paid.
Yeah, right.
What DJing started to mean to me was you are the purveyor of the culture that you need to figure out how you could be important.
Exactly.
And if you can do that, there's still guys who are yo, just book me for your party, $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know what I mean? But some people, they've realized hey, listen, there's change in media. We can have platforms. Oh, shoot. You know what? I'm meeting all these new kids who are coming to these parties. Let me sign one of them. Let's do something growth.
No, exactly.
They shit on growth.
Exactly.